Hey, what's going on, guys? It is me, Matt, and I'm here to give you a quick story time telling thing, I guess. Kind of real small, short video here. Um, so I was going to do this yesterday, being as the what I'm talking about happened yesterday, but I got emotions, okay, and sometimes I want to stay in a good mood and not talk about sad, dreary stuff to put me into a sad mood. I'm not saying it's going to do that to me today, but since it's not the day, it will be easier. But, anyways, yesterday was my best friend's birthday. His name was Garrett Blake. He was one of the greatest guys that I've ever known in my life. He came into my life in a time where I needed somebody. I had this big core group of friends that I always hung out with, which I shouldn't say friends, there's people that I hung out with. And they made fun of me all the time, and they always said that it was for, like, it was like they liked me, and that's why they made fun of me, but really what it was is they all didn't actually like me. I was just like, they like to hang out with my friend. So it's a long story, but so all in all, they end up like stop talking to me, and then like a couple days later, when I was trying to figure out like why they weren't talking to me, they all come out and pretty much be like, "Dude, you're fucking annoying. We all hate you. We've never liked you." Just all this really fucked up mean shit, right? So obviously, it took me to an extremely dark side of my life, and I didn't know what to do, and I was also then afraid to like try to get new friends, I guess, because, like it was one of those things where if I just previously, quote unquote, annoyed people who didn't like me, then why would I try to get new friends when I'm just going to end up annoying them? Which, I mean, I still had friends after them. That was just like the core group that I spent most of my time with. So, another buddy of mine who I hang out with like a lot, he was telling me that, that his friends would never do that kind of shit to me, and blah blah blah, and I should hang out with them and all this stuff, and I was depressed, so I was just kind of like, oh, whatever, and then one day he told me I was going with him to his house after work, to stay the night because it was one of his best friend's birthdays, and so we went there, and I spent the whole night partying with him and Garrett and a few other people, but Garrett knew why I was coming over there, so the whole entire night Garrett made it his point to make sure to sit down with me at every chance possible, talk to me, see who I was, see what kind of person I was, and then tell me when I went to leave the next morning that he has absolutely no idea why anybody would have, called me quote unquote annoying and all this other stuff, because it's like, you're a great guy. Got to know you a lot over this last night now, and blah blah blah. And then it's turned into like the three of us hanging out like all the fucking time, and then it turned into just simply Garrett and I hanging out all the time, and then Garrett and I became really good friends, and then Garrett started pulling away from everybody, and no one really quite understood why. I mean, this was years later. This is actually about a year and a half, 2 years ago now, and Garrett started pulling away from everybody, and no one really understood why 100%. And then found out about 6 months later when Garrett checked himself into rehab for heroin addiction, that he was pulling away because he realized that the bad stuff that he was doing, he didn't want to get anybody else hooked on it. So he pulled away from all of us so we would stay away from it, because he wished himself that he had never actually gotten stuck onto it. And so he went through his classes. He got out of rehab. He was doing really well. Had been clean for a while, about 7 months or so. And then comes the part that why where we're even having this conversation about Garrett in the first place. Some of you possibly have heard me talk about him in the past, so you already know. Other people, maybe not so much, and is the reason why I want to talk to everybody about this today and or possibly because I wanted to yesterday. But Garrett killed himself about 8 months ago, and it was one of the hardest things I've ever actually gone through, to see somebody who helped me get out of depression end their own life due to depression, and I wasn't able to help them. Like I said, Garrett kind of pulled away, so by the time that we'd all, like, he had gotten out and he was like clean and everything, no one really saw him as much as we wished, because he had to like make sure he was staying away from different people, different scenes, stuff like that, so he would never have that chance of thinking in his head that like it would be okay to like pick heroin back up, kind of thing. And obviously, if you're from Ohio, which most of you are, you'll realize that Ohio is like one of these many, many states in this goddamn country that's for some reason having horrible problems with kids ODing on heroin, or even just starting heroin in the first place. And normally I would have been like upset with Garrett for doing it, but obviously, like, he pulled away from us because he knew we all wouldn't like it, and that we wouldn't, be okay with him doing it. And B, he pulled away because he didn't want any of us to start on it. So he pulled the friendship thing first before he pulled the drugs. So he at least thought of us, kind of thing. And then on top of that, he was the best kind of guy that you could have had in your life, pretty much. And it hurts me every day. There's literally not a single day for these last 8 months, and probably for the rest of my life, that I don't think about Garrett, because of all the great things that he did for me. And I only wish that I could have been there more for him now. His turnout for his candle lighting ceremony had like 200 kids there. So it goes to show you what kind of person Garrett was. He was the type of person that it didn't matter who you were, what type of person you were, stuff you were involved in. You were just, a person. He saw that. He didn't discriminate against you for any reason. And I miss him a lot. But yesterday was his birthday. Normally we would have had one crazy awesome party. So I just pretty much wanted to post a video stating like, hey, if you got friends out there that are involved in drugs, and you guys are really close, don't give up on them. Try to help them as much as you can. If they're not willing to take your advice, then probably best to stay away, but try. And or if you just have anybody in your life that deals with depression, remind them that you love them, remind them that you care about them, and you'd be devastated if they were to leave you in your life, because those are things that I never got to explain to Garrett, and I don't know what the outcome would have been if I could have had those possibilities to actually allow him to understand. I mean, he should have understood, but to actually tell him is different. So I'm gonna go, guys. I guess if you like the video, you can leave a like. Just pretty much want to bring out awareness in this horrible crisis of a situation. And yeah, so I'll see you guys later. Hope you enjoyed. Peace out.